Good morning, my dear students. This is CA Uday Kumar and the Faculty for Operation Management, paper number 9 in CMA interlevel. Now, today, the main purpose, the main agenda of this session is how to revise this entire OM in less time before examination. In shortcut, we call it as day before strategy. Now, OM and SM, the weightage of OM is 60 marks and SM is 40 marks. Okay. Now, how we will revise this OM within the less time, Now, entire OM subject, I will divide it into two parts. One is descriptive part, another is theory part. Theory part is very important from examination. MCQs will come and also direct questions will come. The weightage from the theory chapter is 21 marks. The weightage from the theory part is 21 marks. And remaining portion is the descriptive part only. Now, these 21 marks will come from 3 chapters. That is Introduction to OM. There are only the 3 questions are there. One is the recent trends of OM, characteristics of OM, objectives of OM, scope of OM. These 4 questions is sufficient. Okay. Now, Introduction to OM, there is a definitely 7 marks question will come. And next, production planning and control. Only the 3 questions are there. You have to read that 3 questions. And next one is very important. Design, process design, product design. This is another very important. Product design and process design. Now, from these 3 chapters, 21 marks will come. But now, after completion of, on the day of exam day, on exam day morning, you have to read these 3 chapters early morning at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, please practice these 3 chapters questions on exam day. Okay. Now, come to here the descriptive part. Descriptive part. Now, remember, my dear students, at least practice one problem from one chapter. Don't practice all the problems in entire chapters, all chapters. The available time is very less. Now, in this less time, we have to cover this OM and SM. How is it possible? So, don't practice more problems. Just 1 or 2 problems from each chapter. But practice is important. Don't do the audit. Don't do watching. Just refer the pages. Practice 1 or 2 questions from each chapter. Okay. Now, the first one is demand forecasting. You have to practice. I am telling that practice. Just 5 to 10 minutes is sufficient to practice. Yes or no? Now, from demand forecasting, you have to practice direct method and indirect method. One problem on direct method, one problem on indirect method. That's sufficient. Don't practice all the problems. In this chapter, there are totally 6 problems are there. 6 to 7. Don't practice all the problems. Just direct and indirect method. One problem from direct method and another problem is indirect method. That's sufficient. After completion of this demand forecasting, then come to the capacity planning. How many missions required to purchase, and another there is one problem is there. Ideal time is given in the problem. You have to calculate the ideal time of absenteeism of employees, absenteeism of workers, mission working time. You have to practice that problem also. Okay. Capacity planning. After completion of capacity planning, there is a very important chapter, project management. Nothing but network analysis. Project management, nothing but network analysis. Now, first of all, my dear student, you have to practice how to draw the network diagram. Network diagram is a very, very important. Now, after that, practicing the network diagram, in all problems, practice only the how to draw the network diagram only. Okay. Now, practice only one problem. Practice only one problem on floats, float calculations. Don't practice all the problems. Only one problem is sufficient on calculation of floats. After completion of this floats concept, then you have to come to the next one, but optimistic, pessimistic. Now, there is a compulsory 7 marks question will come from this project management. Now, don't practice all the questions. First, you have to practice network diagram. Network diagram, I think 1 to 2 minutes is sufficient to practice these network diagrams. Yes or no? No, sir. All the problems means at least 5 minutes. Okay. Now, after completion of network diagram problem, you have to practice one question on floats. One question. I'm telling that only one question is sufficient. Don't practice all the problems. And after completion of that, you have to practice the problem on PERT, how to calculate the expected duration. That's the sufficient. Okay. And thereafter, after completion of this project management, then you have to come back to the simulation chapter. Now remember, simulation answer is divided into two parts. One is random number allocation table, another is simulation table. Now, my dear students, for all the problems, random allocation table format is the same. For simulation, it is depend upon the requirement given in the question. My sincere request is, please see the format of simulation tables. Okay. And thereafter, there is a concept of scheduling and line balancing. This time, this chapter is important. Means, in which order we can perform the jobs. FCS, first come, first service, last come, first service, critical ratio service. Now, you have to read that, you have to practice that problems also. Just hardly 5 minutes is sufficient for that line balancing job. After completion of this network diagram, capacity planning, demand forecasting, okay, simulation, scheduling. After assignment and transportation. Sir, please practice one problem in assignment. One problem. Practice is very, very important. One problem. Row minimization, column minimization. You have to practice one problem on this assignment concept. Transportation. Now, at least practice the one problem on northwest corner rule. Only initial basic feasible solution. Only initial basic feasible solution only. Don't do any Moody's optimality test, which is not at all important for your examination. Yes, even though it is important for examination, please don't practice at the last moment. It is very, very time taken method. Now, northwest corner rule, least cost and VAMS. Please practice one problem on these three different methods. Yes, in masterminds material, that type of problem is also there. One problem, only one problem we have to practice in these three methods. Don't do any Moody's optimality test in the last moment. This is a time consuming method. Don't waste your time before examination. It is a valuable for you. Now, please practice one problem in assignment. Okay. Now, thereafter, simulation, project management, capacity planning. Yes. There is a very, very dangerous chapter is there. Economics of maintenance. Economics of maintenance and space management. Economics of maintenance and space management. Now, the weightage of this chapter is 7 marks. There will be a compulsory, there will be a question from this area. Now, in this, entire this chapter is I am classified into three parts. breakdown maintenance versus preventive maintenance. Now, this is very, very important. Very, very important for this attempt. There is only one problem in masterminds material, 1 and 2. You have to practice that problems. Question number 1 and 2. And come to here, second concept, frequency of preventive maintenance and group replacement policy. There is a bulb problem is there, you have to practice that question, group replacement policy. Bulb, there is a hotel and bulb problem is there in MM material, you have to practice that question. And after that, replacement of asset. Only one problem is sufficient. I am telling that only one problem. That means only the 3 problems from this chapter. Please practice the 3 problems. That's sufficient. One is on breakdown maintenance versus preventive maintenance. That's sufficient. And group replacement policy. That's sufficient. And replacement of asset. The one question is there. You have to practice that one question. That's sufficient. Okay. If time is available, you have to move on to the next chapters. Productivity management, which is a theory chapter, and quality certification. Okay, application of operation research. Now, if there is a time is there, you can read that chapter also. Otherwise, you can left. Why? Because the time is very, very less. Now, this is entire day before strategy regarding this operation management. That's it for today. All the best.
Hello everyone, welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to discuss 1 day before examination strategy, CMA inter examination, especially SM paper 40 marks, June 2025 attempt. We are going to discuss 1 day before exam strategy. Since the time is very limited, you should use your time in a very intelligent manner so that you should clear CMA inter exams very successfully to enter into CMA final. So, God bless you. Great results. Now, let's move into this strategy now. Total 40 marks is for SM paper, right? There will be 12 marks, 6 MCQs of 2 marks each, 12 marks, out of which, as per the recent trends of examination paper, out of 6 MCQs, at least 4 MCQs will be very, very easy. You should not be worried about that at all. Is that clear? So 8 out of 12 marks is quite comfortable to you all. You can score at least 8. If you are reasonably good with your preparation, means you can crack 5 MCQs or if possible 6 MCQs also. So there is no big worries about MCQs at all. Now come to the descriptive part now. Total SM is for 40 marks, MCQ is 12, means descriptive is 28 marks. Descriptive is for 28 marks. Now, there will be 3 descriptive questions. Each question is of 14 marks, out of which sub question is of 7 marks. You know that you have to answer any 2 questions out of those 3 descriptive questions. Now, what is the time, budgeted time you have to spend at the main examination? Means total examination time is 3 hours. Out of these 3 hours, the maximum time or average time, whatever you say, you can spend 1 hour and 15 minutes for the SM answers only. Because yes, OM is of 60 marks, you have to spend some time, proportionate time with OM also. So maximum time allowed for SM is 1 hour 15 minutes, out of which, as per my little experience, by God's grace, 6 MCQs won't take more than 15 minutes also. It is the maximum time allowed for MCQs. So the remaining 1 hour, you have to take a maximum 1 hour for answering 28 marks descriptive questions. You have to choose out of these 3 things any two questions. Now, let's come to the answering part now. Since time is very limited, you have to focus on the main topics which has the highest probability to be asked in CMA inter SM paper June 2025 exams. Now, we have 4 chapters now. Look at that first chapter, introduction chapter. First, focus on this beautiful question called 3 types of strategies. Thereafter, meaning of SM and the 4 elements of SM. Then please focus. This is my guest question also. Organization culture and its layers. Organization culture and its layers. This is my this question, as per my experience, has great probability to appear in your exam. Organization culture and its layers. Thereafter, if you want to set objectives for the organization, you have to keep some factors in mind, right? So please watch this question number 4 also, right? Please be cautious with question number 3 and 4. Then you have to read organizational genomics and thereafter balanced scorecard approach. And now, if I have to say one thing, balanced scorecard approach in the recent 6 to 8 attempts, it has never been asked in the exam. Why he is not asking, we don't know the answer. If he wants to give a surprise, he may drop that question called balanced scorecard approach from chapter number 1. So please be good with these 6 types of questions from chapter number 1. Now come to the chapter number 2 called strategic analysis and planning part 2. Now this is the lengthiest chapter in your SM paper syllabus actually. Now please be cautious about this question called business environment meaning, and thereafter characteristics and layers. I have a great expectations on this question, business environment meaning, characteristics and layers. Now, 2 lengthy topics are there, not so frequently asked in the CMA inter exam, but be safe, read these 2 questions, value channels and 5 force model. If you ask me very sincerely, I have great expectations of this question, especially in this attempt June 2025 exam. Business environment meaning, characteristics and layers. Be good with that question first. Now, this SWOT analysis is not being tested in CA inter. So there is a great probability for question number 4 actually. SWOT analysis. How to use SWOT analysis? Simple application is there and thereafter some limitations are there. Now, in the same manner, portfolio analysis, advantages and disadvantages. Please be cautious with this question. Now, next question picked up for your attempt is stages in strategic planning, environment scanning, strategy formulation, etc. Right? And the last one, be cautious about this question, strategic decision making meaning and especially these biases. If you ask me very seriously, in this lengthy chapter number 2, I am expecting the selected question number 1 here, not in the masterminds, here, business environment, meaning, characteristics, layers. Thereafter, my strong guess question is SWOT analysis, simple application and limitations. And thereafter, seventh selected question here, strategic decision making, meaning and biases. But I request every student to go all through these selected topics. These are some selected questions from the entire chapter 2. Out of this, my strong guess are business environment, SWOT analysis, strategic decision making, biases. Hopefully, you will read all these questions, and those 3 questions very cautiously have multiple rounds of revisions for those questions. Now, please move to chapter number 3 now. Chapter number 3 called strategy formulation and implementation. Right, first one, if you ask me straight away, sir, please give me one question, you have to be very good with this question. Tailor-made structural solutions given by Gould and Campbell, 2 philosophers are there, and transnational structure and project structure. If time permits, please watch these questions. Marketing strategy and HR strategy, my second priority for June 2025 attempt. My top priority from chapter 3 will be tailor-made structural solutions, transnational structure, project structure and BPR, business process reengineering, meaning, characteristics and why organizations need BPR. Please be very good with questions. These 3 to 4 questions especially, and the rest of the questions are second priority questions in my view. Guidelines for proper control, how many steps are there to implement operational control, areas in which goal congruence can be improved. Now, we have selected 8 to 9 questions from chapter number 3, which is a very lengthy chapter actually, out of which please focus on tailor-made structural solutions, transnational structure, project structure. Then read BPR meaning, why we need BPR, what are the characteristics of BPR. If you have enough time, then go after the remaining questions in chapter 3 called guidelines for proper control, steps to implement operational control, areas in which goal congruence can be improved. And if you still have time, go after these questions in the last minutes. Marketing strategy and HR strategy are least important, but if you have time, please refer those couple of questions also. Now, please move to the chapter 4, entirely new syllabus. Under new syllabus, it was introduced called digital strategy. First one, The 7 layers are there. 7 layers are there to simplify the task of digital transformation. This is a must read question. Thereafter, cloud computing, meaning, types, benefits, and demerits. This is a must question. This is the, in this chapter, we have very little questions. We have to grab more marks in this chapter number 4. Thereafter, components of blockchain, and final question, digital marketing strategies, different forms of digital marketing. We have selected these couple of these questions now, right? Read all these selected questions in this chapter 4. Out of this only, your examination question paper will contain some questions from digital strategy. Be sure about chapter number 4. I hope you will get questions from these selected questions only. Don't leave any one question also from chapter number 4. Have you understood this one? In this way, you can plan your preparation one day before examination. Have you understood this one? One final word from my side is again 3 hours exam, 15 minutes MCQs for SM MCQs 15 marks, SM descriptives you have to spend 1 hour if you are good with OM. If the OM paper seems to be a bit difficult for some students they can spend more than 1 hour or 1 hour, 1.5 hours for SM also if they are good with SM. This is applicable only to some students, but it is not applicable to every student. Some students might be very good at OM paper also. For those students, they have to spend maximum 1 hour 15 minutes only for SM. Hope you will read all these questions in quick time. You will get more marks in both OM and SM along with the other papers at CMA Inter Group 1 and Group 2. Hope you will be entering into CMA final very soon. God bless you. Great results. All the best to you all.